TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be talking about more consistency. So I'm going to jump straight into it. I've been doing a little bit shorter videos because I know that it definitely works with my YouTube algorithm and just my audience in general. So generally this is what I do is I do a 30-minute video, I do a 15-minute video or somewhere in there, and then a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video, a shorter form content, and even under 10 minutes. So I definitely have the under 10-minute content. I have the medium range content and even some of the long form content. Now, today what we are getting into is more consistency. So this is significantly more consistent. So I'm going to put a picture visual, okay? I found this on Instagram, and a lot of people know kind of what I've already talked about on this type of stuff, but I really want you guys to kind of heed my knowledge. So this right here, when I'm going to put this up, this right here is ultimately, it has 3 different things of consistency. The top one is going to be every single day this person's consistent. Then the middle person is every other day. And then the third person is every other day. Okay? All of these things are consistent, okay? Or even once a week is considered consistent, right? So, yes, that is consistent, but being more consistent, which this video is speaking on, is significantly greater. And I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to use my AM ritual and my AM ritualistic discipline, my AM routines, as a complete example to this. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Okay, so ultimately, when it says more consistency, medium consistency, and then I guess somebody would say is lower range consistency, they're all consistent, which the whole entire picture is showing. Okay, so ultimately, I responded. I said the top higher frequency of consistency should not be compared with a lower frequency of consistency. This is like a higher vibrational person being compared to a lower vibrational person, just because sometimes they similarly do the same thing. Like they both go to the gym. A higher vibrational person goes to the gym. A lower vibrational person goes to the gym. Okay? So you guys might hear this. Okay, they both go to the gym, but are they the same? No, because one trains in high frequency and high intensity and high consistency, and one person trains in low frequency. You see the vibration of this? That is the difference, okay? So that's exactly what I'm saying. They're not comparable. They're not comparable. Even though they are cultivating the same thing or similar things, they're not comparable. Because to be a more consistent person is not comparable to being a less consistent person, just because the only thing that is consistent is that they are consistent, okay? So one person who does something once a week and one person who does, 2 days, they're both consistent, but they're at different frequencies of consistency, different sequences of frequencies of consistency. Say that 5 times fast. So ultimately, this is also what I'm kind of getting into. The whole logic behind this is like a lot of people like, that makes sense, but like, explain it. Go a little bit deeper. Okay, so I'm going to use my AM ritualistic discipline as this. I'm not going to give you everything. If you guys are interested in this is on my course. But ultimately, let's just use a biohacking ritual. You wake up early, you go to the gym, you're lifting heavy, you have all your macros, you have everything scheduled. You're just a higher vibrational person. You're always you're doing your cardio, so you're doing cardio multiple times a day. You're doing, let's say, 1 lift per day. You're doing yoga. You're doing your breath work. You are reading. You're journaling. You're doing your qigong. You're doing martial arts. You're doing all this type of stuff. Even if you're doing this like throughout the week, okay? But let's say like in 1 AM ritual. Oh, I call it an AM ritualistic discipline, okay? You're getting black coffee. You're, not secreting. You're not secreting, cortisol or very low bouts of cortisol. You're not releasing insulin or very low bouts of insulin. So that's a big thing on that, okay? And people don't comprehend that, okay? People don't comprehend that. So in this is exactly what I'm saying, okay, is that the person who is more consistent and more intense, they're more frequent, they're higher frequency, they're an ultraviolet frequency, okay? They're not comparable to an infrared frequency. That is exactly what I'm saying is just because somebody does something once a week and that's considered consistent, and somebody does one thing does 2 days, okay, every day, that's consistent too, but it's just more consistent, which is exactly what this video is talking about. Is that the more consistent person, okay, if I were to do all of those habit stacking, okay, because that's being the more consistent person, habit stacking, not just doing one habit, Okay, oh, one habit is consistency. But if I'm doing an ultimate amount of habit stacking as well as being significantly consistent, say like 2 days or even just every single day, once a day, and I do that as my AM ritual, okay, over a 5-year period, you will do over like 1,000 more training skills or practices than the person who is less consistent. That is not comparable. That is significantly not comparable. That's just a 5-year period. Some people train for 20 years. Some people train for 30 years. Some people train for 40 years. Okay? So those people are not even just 8 times, they're 8,000 times greater than somebody who's less consistent in that exact realm. Okay? And that's the differentiation. And then if you have these types of biohacking skills, such as red light therapy, ultraviolet therapy, a multitude of things. Okay, and if you're really tapping into this every day or every other day, as frequently as you possibly can, like you are a high performing, rare individual. You are a hyperactive, rare individual, meaning you're high performing. Okay, a high performer, and somebody who's more of a high performer. I'm not saying that people will project onto you, you're a workaholic, you are obsessive with working. Is that really what it is? Or is it that there's a purpose and there's a timeline and there's an expression of consciousness and spirit within the being? Okay, so let's use me as an example. This is within me, I have a purpose and I have a type of people that I'm meeting. I have a type of audience that I'm meeting, and I have a high performance to fulfill that purpose as quickly as possible, as spread as possible, like a wildfire as much as possible. Okay, finding all the wildflowers. You see what I'm saying? So in this cultivation, it definitely takes that effort of high performance. Okay, so I'm not going to have this go too long, but I really want you guys to look at this, that the person on top is doing 4 times as much every week. Let's just say it's based on 7s. They are doing 4 times as much every single week. 4 times as much every single week. So what if it's 4 times 4 skills? That's 16 times that they're effectively beating that person who's less consistent, and twice as much as the middle person. To be more consistent is to be more consistent in your life. Not only that, but then you can even take the subconscious programming aspect into it, the 21-day subconscious programming aspect into it, that you do things consistently for 21 days, 3 7s. You do things for 21 days and it's habitually constructed into the subconscious programming and reprogramming of the brain. Okay, so if you do things consistently within the theta states, you do things consistently within the state akin to sleep, the sleep dream state, the sleep to awake state, the theta state. It's right in between sleepiness and awakefulness. Okay, and so in that trans state, okay, that transmental, that transcendental state, okay, that is ultimately the place where you can cultivate programming and reprogramming your brain via the theta state. Okay, and then you can even listen to theta states, okay, and induce that into yourself, meaning that you just lay down in stillness, don't look at your phone, don't listen to anything other than put some theta states on, okay, pure theta states, and then you start to imagine your life as if it is already happening, as it is happening, as how you are imagining it in your brain, not wanting it, but being it. Okay, that transforms this, and then you can cultivate that into your skills. When I'm sore, I'm meditating on lifting. Because I'm too sore to lift, I'm still meditating on PRing in my lift 2 days later. Because I did it right now in my mind. It's visualization, it's imagination. It's exactly what the Lakers did to win the 6 rings that they won. And that's the whole cultivation. I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm just expressing it to you that these are the ways that winners cultivate things, is through visualization. They visualize receiving the trophy. They visualize fans cheering them on. They visualize success. They visualize their bank accounts. They visualize their bodies. They visualize their mindsets. They visualize their relationships. Okay? And this is intercorrelated with more consistency. And as you're more consistent in your action, okay, you also take action with those visualizations and imaginations. Okay, I'm not going to have this go too long. I'm going to leave this one here. If you guys want more of this type of content, be more consistent, and just, put a comment in the section, put a comment in the comment section, like, comment, share, subscribe, and ultimately just tell me that you guys want to